to always take notes. So sorry. Yes, I forgot about the recording part. um, before we get started, I like to tell everyone to go ahead and take notes. So the way that you take notes, hopefully you can see my screen, is there is a small piece of paper and a pencil on the right hand side of your screen. Click on that, and then you can choose your save method. You can send it to your email, your Drive, or OneDrive. And any notes that you take during the presentation today will be sent to wherever you choose. So you'll get like the slide and your notes. So great feature for people to kind of keep track of what you're learning. So while you're doing that, I'll introduce myself a little bit. I'm Asia. I'm your customer success manager. I work with the state of Maryland. I work with DC, New Hampshire, and Maine. And before my career at Nearpod, I was an educator. I was in the classroom for about 6, 7 years. I spent most of my career in St. Mary's County and taught third grade, first grade, upper elementary for the most part. And then I also was an instructional resource teacher. So kind of the catch-all person, the tech person, the interventionist, all those things. And during the pandemic, I got really great in using Nearpod and ended up writing curriculum for them and then fell into the customer success role. And here I am. So I know the product pretty well, and I'm excited to share our library updates with you today. So we're going to explore and organize our Nearpod libraries. We're going to review our folder enhancements, and then any questions or concerns in general that you have about Nearpod or about organizing your library. Today would be the time to ask them. Hopefully I will be able to answer absolutely everything with my presentation. And if not, we're definitely going to be spending a lot of time in Nearpod and messing with folders and creating things. So hopefully all of our questions will get answered. But before we start, I want to know, how well do you actually know Nearpod? Are you an expert? Have you launched some lessons? Are you brand new and ready to learn? I like to know my audience just a little bit before jumping in, getting started using terminology. I want to know exactly where you are. For those of you who don't get to see both sides all the time, this is the student view of what a Nearpod looks like. So you probably see this on your screen. As a teacher, this is what I see on my screen. I can hide names if I want to, but I think we're all fine here. So you have your student name and then you have their answer, and you can share out our breakdown of what where we are, how well we know Nearpod. Awesome. Most people at least know what it is. Wonderful. I can unshare that, and I'm going to keep it moving. Awesome. Really quick, what is Nearpod? I don't want to go through this whole presentation without like just level setting a little bit and saying what Nearpod is. We're an interactive platform. We've got tons of interactive tools, resources, and content, all in one place to make teaching more engaging, fun, and easier, hopefully. We've got not only interactive presentations, but we have quizzes, polls, videos, collaborate boards, and then we've got thousands of K-12 standards aligned resources for you. I've linked in here our student-paced training. I know that training in general, PD days are few and far between. So please feel free to do some self-paced training, lots of beginner guides, getting started, self-paced courses, all these things you can click and it will take you directly to that link. So I love to put those in there for people just to be aware that we do have that stuff. You don't always have to come to a training. We've got plenty of resources out there for you. More resources as you're working through getting to know Nearpod or launching things. There's always going to be questions of, well, how do I access reports? How do I get to this? How do I use Google Slides and then put that into a Nearpod or change it over into a Nearpod? I've linked all those kind of like questions here, along with our blog is in there. And so any of those questions that you have generally about Nearpod can be answered in this section. So I just want to add those in there for you. Make sure that you have the resources to be successful. But today we're going to be talking about the library, our Nearpod library. So before we get started, I kind of have to go through vocabulary a little bit. So there are different libraries within Nearpod. Very quickly, we're going to discuss four of them. Our Nearpod library, that's where you can find all of our pre-made content. I think we have over 20,000 pieces of pre-made standard line content. That's lessons, videos, activities. Um, those are put in there by our Nearpod team and our publishing partners. I will take you in there in a second and just kind of point these things out for you in a second. But we also have the My Library. That is where you are going to keep your personal library of lessons, activities, videos, things that you like and that you want to share with other teachers or with students. That is where you keep your personal things that you found in our bigger library. The school library is a sharing space for each designated school. So at the school level, if I work at, I worked at Duke Elementary, and we had a school library. So every single teacher in that building was able to access that library, and our some of our coaches would put information in there, put pre-approved lessons in there or resources in there, and say, "Hey, these are all approved at the school level." Now, take it a step further, the district library is a library that every single teacher in the district can access with the same concept. You add lessons from Nearpod into a district library. Now, the thing with school and district libraries are that not everyone can just add to them. You do have to have special permission to do that. I would have to talk to my folks that are in charge and say, hey, this person wants permission. Are they on a curriculum team or something like that? We don't want everyone to be able to post in the library. We want to keep it usually small. And so like our curriculum teams that are building over the summer will usually have access to the school and district libraries. So very quickly, I'm going to show you where these things live in Nearpod. So first we talked about our Nearpod library under Nearpod content. That is where you will find all of our featured content, grade level content right now, month of March. Everything dealing with March is here. You click into, maybe you want to teach about Easter. And there is plenty of stuff here that you can add to my lessons. So if I add to my lessons, it's going to say, great, successfully added. Now we're going to go over to my lessons. My library is here. That is where you have all the things that you've saved or created and your folders, which we're going to talk about in just a moment. The lesson that I just added is here in my library. I can choose to organize it or not. And then when you want to talk about school libraries, those are under shared libraries. School library is here. And then our district library is here. These are just examples of things that I have in here. This is not a real school district library, but I have it just to show what it could look like. In the school library, maybe there's second grade. It could be by grade level. It could be by content area. It could be by event. Same with district library. It's a pretty big project to construct and organize one of these libraries. So if you're up for the task, feel free to say, but that is generally the district, school, my library, and the Nearpod library. Okay. So let's start with creating a folder. That is, I've linked the directions here. How do I add a folder in my library? I'm going to talk you through it, and then I'm going to show you, and then I'll give you some time to create a folder. So when you go in, you're going to actually go to the home page, and then over on the right-hand side, you're going to see a small box that looks like a folder with a plus sign in it. That is what you're going to click. You're going to click create. You can name that folder. And then once it's named, it will pop up. It will populate in your library. If you have multiple folders, you're going to have to click the see more to see all of your folders at once. Okay. Then once you locate that folder, you have some options there. We've enhanced these folders a lot. You can share them. You can color coordinate them. You can rename them. You can move them around, put them in other folders, and that generally is how you create a folder. So I'm going to show you very quickly in my own library. I'm going to go to my lessons. Over on the right-hand side, you're going to click create a new folder. I'm going to just call this test folder, and I'm going to click create. It's going to populate right here. You can see most of my folders are color coordinated in a way. So this one does not have a color just yet. I can click the three dots, and that's where I can choose, if I have the option to add the school or district library, I can also rename it. I can add lessons to it. I can add a folder inside of it, a subfolder, or I can change the color of that folder from here on out. Okay, so that's just generally how you create a folder. I'm going to give everybody a minute. Please log into your Nearpod, create a folder. It can say test. It doesn't have to be anything real unless you want to start a real folder. So go ahead. I will give everyone 1 minute. Give me a thumbs up or something in the chat to let me know that you've successfully created a folder. Great. Cool. I'm seeing some thumbs up. All right. All right. Great. It's looking like most people have created folders. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Awesome. So we've created a folder, and now we have to talk about organizing the folders. So this is a general making the most out of your organization options. We're always going to encourage you to rename them and organize them by some kind of naming convention. We'll go through a few different ways to do that. Move folders around to the correct category. Add lessons, which means you're going to search, find, and select lessons to put into the folder. Color coordinate. Not everybody's a color coordinated type of person, but it really does help. So I work with quite a few districts in Maryland. All of my districts have blue folders. So I know Anne Arundel County has a folder, Charles County has a folder, Wacomico County has a folder. Everybody's got folders, and they're all certain colors in order for me to track everything and everybody. Okay. And then remove, delete folders and the content inside of it. If you remove something, you're deleting it from that folder. If you delete a folder, you're deleting the content in that folder as well. Subject, and that will be really easy to, retrieve them. I think of this as something for elementary level, maybe, yeah, elementary level. I was teaching all these subjects, and so I had folders for each subject. Some folks might sort by grade level, marking period, or semester. I think it's great to do both. I can have my first semester or first marking period reading things and kind of put them in the first marking period folder. And then I know first marking period, all of my stuff is right there ready to go. Um, Grade levels, if you teach multiple grade levels, I think about our middle school and high school folks. If you teach multiple grade levels, this could be a great way to organize by class period, 7th, 6th, freshmen, seniors, senior seminar, things like that, to kind of organize yourself within your Nearpod library, because it gets so messy so quickly that you definitely have got to come up with some kind of organization. I also encourage a blank slides and templates folder. I talked a lot in my test prep section about how I used to love teaching students how to create and use those brainstorming tools like a Venn diagram, a main idea organizer, organizers of all kinds. And so it's great to kind of have those blank slides and those blank templates ready to go. Great to have them in an organizer because we've got so many of them in our Nearpod library that you could quickly kind of get lost and drown in all of those lessons being added to your library. Also highly encourage a favorites folder. Um, that could be your favorite things for holidays. That could be your favorite things for end of the year activities, icebreakers, back to school, sub planning folders. I the sub planning folder, I have one just to show as an example. But I wish that Nearpod had sub planning back when I was in the classroom. Unfortunately, they did not. But sub planning folder, great way to organize the things that you know that you're eventually going to need one day when you're out, whether it's for a PD or what. Also, I've linked all these things in here. These are great resources to click on and take you to um, ways to use sub plans, back to school activities, holiday, test prep, end of the year activities. So just link those for you. And then I'm actually going to pause here and take us back to our actual library. So my library is going to look a little bit different than a regular teacher just because I do demos and things like that and work with, different districts, counties. When you're in Nearpod, so I talked about having first a color code system. So the blue ones are my districts. And so let's just click in Anne Arundel County for giggles. So when I did the summer sessions, these are all of my summer sessions. These are eCoach Day for last year, and this is eCoach Day for this year. So these are my presentations right now. So within that folder, I've created subfolders. So I'll use my test folder. I've created my test folder, and inside my test folder, I need a subfolder. So I'm going to go back and repeat the process of creating a folder. I'm going to click that button, and I'm going to click create. And now inside my test folder, I now have a subfolder. I can also do holidays and keep going and going within my one folder. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. From here, there's going to be a few things you can do in order to get content into these folders. You can click into the folder and you can add a folder within a folder if you really want to, or you can go to add lessons. If you have things that are already in your library that you want to search, they will pop up here. You can search them here. I'm going to select 4 things and I'm going to add it. Great. Wonderful. I've added that to my holidays folder. Is exactly what I wanted. If you don't want to do it like that, and maybe you want to go into your lessons that you've added. So I added that Easter lesson here. I can now click the Easter lesson. I can now click this and move them all at the same time. This is a new enhancement to our folders. You used to have to be able to do it one at a time, and it was a pain, and we got a lot of feedback about it. And so now you can click multiple lessons, activities, whatever you have in my lessons, and you can click the word move down here. It's going to show you how many folders you selected and how many activities out of your library you've selected. So I've selected 3 activities out of 30 that's already existing in my library, but I haven't selected a folder yet. I'm going to click the word move, and all of my folders are going to come up. I'm going to find the folder that I want to move it to. I really want to move it to just my favorites folder and click the word move. And now all of those things, 3 lessons have moved to favorites. You can undo it if you would like to, but that's the pop-up you should get. So you will be able to multi-select, and then you'll be able to move them pretty seamlessly. Yeah, right? It seems like, oh, no big deal. They just like added a checkbox, but this was a big pain for people, especially creating lessons in the summertime, those curriculum groups. You can also do the same with actual folders. Let me think. All right. I can select multiple folders. So I've got some PhET simulations that I want to move over to one folder. So I'm going to click that folder and all the lessons in it. This has got 6 lessons. This has got 5. Um, and this has 7 lessons. I'm going to move it to my other PhET simulations folder. I'm going to click move, and I'm going to select the folder I want to move them all to and choose move. And now all of those folders are within this other folder. So this is a great way to easily like archive your stuff so that you don't have, stuff from 3 and 4 and 5 years ago just floating around in your library, in your lessons. Questions? No? Okay, awesome. So leveraging subfolders. Also, I like to point out that that's a great way to set up the differentiated lessons. MTSS supports anything that you need in order to kind of separate maybe small groups, things like that. It's great to leverage those subfolders, group 1, group 2, group 3, orange, blue, purple group, whatever, however you want to do that, and differentiate your lessons or activities within one specific folder. Archive past year's lessons, I've already said that, but make sure that you're doing that just so you're keeping your library clean. Mine is not the most wonderful thing in the world, and I don't have classrooms, so I can manage it, but I definitely suggest past lesson archiving. All right, I'm going to jump back over. Sorry, it's a lot of back and forth. I have shown you how to create a folder, how to create subfolders. I've shown you how to go in and move these pretty quickly. Oh, you can also just hover over a lesson and you'll get that diamond, and you can choose where you want to drop off a folder if you don't want to do the whole selection thing. Okay. If you would like to add from the Nearpod library, I think I showed this a second ago, but I'm going to go back and show you really quickly. I want this lesson. I want to show in my lessons. Great. You can add from school and district library from here, but you will not be able to add directly to a folder from here. Not yet. So you will have to go to my lessons. Oh, what did I do? Did I not click? I'm so sorry. Oh. You have to show in my lessons, and then it'll take you to the lesson. Great. I think I already have this saved. That's why it's not doing it. Let's pick something new. Add to my lessons. Great. Lesson added successfully. I go over to my lessons. It should be sitting right here. I can choose to select it. I can delete it if I want to. And I'm actually just going to move it over to demos and move. So that is how you create a folder, how you move folders, how you move lessons, um, how you color coordinate. Yes, I can show you how to multi-select. So if you want to select multiple at a time, you're going to go down to my lessons, my lessons area where all this stuff is, and you're going to hover. You're going to see this square in the left-hand corner of each lesson or activity, and you're going to select it again. And once you select it, it will give you the lesson title or activity title, and then what grades this is for, just to give you an idea of what you're selecting. You can select as many as you like. And then when you go down to the bar at the bottom, it'll say you've selected 4 out of however many things you have in the library. You're going to click move and then choose where you would like to move it to, and then click move, and it will prompt you to say 4 lessons have been moved to favorites or whatever lesson. Yours is still the old way?
Yeah, it still has it as the like drag to folder. There's no box in it, and then it also has like the live participation student paste option. It doesn't have like the
Yours
teach.
doesn't look like mine. It
No,
doesn't say teach.
no, it
Okay.
has the two things.
Can you give me your email address? Put it in the chat.
Yeah,
If
no
that is
problem.
the case for anybody, please let me know. It should not look like that. It should not look like that. Maybe you guys haven't gone through the full. Okay, no problem. I got you. No, when you hover, you shouldn't have to change anything. You should be able to hover and just drag it. And that was the case in the older version too. You should be able to hover and drag.
Yeah, we can hover and drag it. We just don't have the box with the select.
Okay. Somebody asked about hovering and dragging. Is there a setting that need to change? So to 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 that person, no, you don't need to do that. Um, so what I would love for you all to do is work on creating folders. I'd love for you to create, if you can, 4 folders. One of them should be a favorites folder. And then the other three, it's up to you. If you want them to be subjects, if you want them to be holiday stuff, if you want them to be activity folders, that's fine. But one of them, I would love for you all to create a favorites folder and then 3 of your choice and find and add at least one lesson in each folder. One lesson, if you can, one activity. So I will give you some time to do that. And if there are any questions that come up along the way, I would love to support you. I'm taking down those names um, who are saying that it looks a little bit different for them.
Asia, it might be a district thing because I'm in the same boat as
Okay.
everyone else.
Then I will put in with support just to double check that you guys are updated. You're definitely
I'll check with some other folks in my office now.
Okay.
Just to confirm.
No problem. If there are any questions that come up or something you need to see again, please feel free to let me know. I will run back through it. It doesn't have the selection option, just drag the folder. Okay. Okay, I think that's what we're trying to get figured out, why you guys aren't seeing that box yet. Well, that's great to know. I definitely should have pumped in some music, and I'm so sorry if you hear my pup losing his mind in the background. I'm going to give you guys thumbs up once you create your 4 folders and have added. Don't take your time. It's totally fine. We have some time. I just wanted to temperature check on folks. Okay, a couple of people.
Asia, I had a question.
Sure.
Is there, I know there's the school sharing setting with the folders, but is
Correct.
there a way, say, for like a team to collaborate? Like I was in your last session with the FET stuff, and my
Yes.
science teacher would probably love it.
Okay.
But is there a way for me to be like, hey, here's a folder full of FET stuff that you might enjoy?
Yep. So I'm actually going to go into my FET folder, and so say you want to share a folder, you are able to click those 3 dots on a folder or three dots on a lesson. It looks the same. Click share and then put in their email, and it will take them to your folder. It will take them to the lesson, and they will be prompted to add it to their lesson library.
I don't know if it's because mine is the old way, but it doesn't let me share a folder.
It doesn't let you share a folder. So when you click the three dots, what do you see?
It gives me rename, move, add lesson, add folder, and then folder color and remove.
But it doesn't give you the option to share. Does it give you the option to share with just a single lesson, or is it just for folders?
Let me see. For a single lesson, I can share.
Okay.
But not for my folders. Let me see if it's because it has to have something in the folder. There we go.
Oh, okay. That's important. Also, when you share a single lesson, it does give you options for sharing. You can do a preview link of the lesson. So it'll take you to that slide where you can kind of go through each slide, and it'll give you the activities that are listed. So like the preview page, if you go with editable, it'll take them to their library and prompt them to add it, if that makes sense. So if I copy this link and this is the preview link, and this is what that person will see. They'll be able to edit the lesson. They'll be able to, go through, teach it, and explore what standards it hits and things like that. But if I take this link, the editable link, it will look like this. It will look like this for whoever I share it with. And you'll be prompted just to add it directly to your library. They can choose not to or add to the library. It's up to them. And then you can always do email, social if you want to. The links are right here, embed, and then the Remind app. So I think about if you share it with parents or somebody who has like a Nearpod sign-in, students who are doing independent work or student-paced work or self-paced work, you could share it through the Remind app that way as well. Questions? Concerns? Anything else that you guys want me to demonstrate before I go into more? Okay. Gotta find my right screen. Okay, so I have some resources for you. So what is new? We already kind of went over that. Move, delete, duplicate bulk folders. So basically you will get those, the square, and you'll be able to move them, share them very easily, folders and lessons in bulk. The bulk folder tools, again, it's all about organization and just a better experience overall. It seems like a very small thing to update a library, but once you guys actually have access to it and we get that figured out, it's much easier to maneuver in your lessons. It's much easier to use and organize the school and district library. I know that both of those things can kind of be a daunting task for curriculum teams at any level. So we want to make that experience easier and kind of create a place for everyone to be able to access their Nearpod lessons and approve Nearpod lessons and activities very easily. Additional things that I have, if you weren't in my last session, I talked about Nearpod for test prep. Test prep, we want it to be a year-round focus. Practice. And we have a very cool test prep website. I skip right past it. Come on. There we go. Test prep website is here. Please scroll down. You'll get standard aligned resources for every content area, every core content area, along with our test prep webinar series, elevate your instruction, teacher-led differentiation, and then test prep for creating tech enhanced questions. So I wanted to share that with you as well because there's some great resources there. There's our test prep series. The Nearpod coaching course is coming back May 6th. And resources that I used to outline organizing, best practices, the 3 tips for using Nearpod's lesson library, and then 17 ideas for organizing. We did not go through all of them. There's so many in here that I had to just choose a few because I knew that time was of the essence. And we have our Nearpod Educator Journey resource, and of course, your Anne Arundel County Nearpod support page, which is always chock full of information. I get you guys' monthly newsletter, and I love looking at it. So please, you guys use that resource. It's great. It's a great one. Of course, my email is there. My email is always open if anybody ever needs anything. If you need help with organizing, planning, anything at all, I am more than happy to help. So yeah, if you have questions, concerns, want me to show something again, I'm happy to. We have some time. So if you have an unrelated question about Nearpod or whatever, please feel free to ask. We have time. So it doesn't have to just be about organizing the library, but thank you all so much. If you have questions. I think you guys have a survey, right? I think. Gotta plug the survey.
Yep, I'll get that into the chat before everyone. If
Cool.
don't leave.
Oh, I wasn't giving you permission to leave, y'all. I just was saying that anything that you have questions with, I'm here. I wanted to leave time for questions if you guys have any. Oh, you're welcome. I didn't see all this. You're welcome. You're very welcome.
All right, attendance is in the chat.